troubles are miles away. We see you, oh, oh. And in our eyes you'll stare.
Hello. I just noticed I spelled disappointment wrong. That's disappointing. Seriously, I added another S. Oh, man. I can go back and fix it, but I'm not gonna. So hello everyone, welcome to Schizoid Inc.'s Schizoid Saturday. You're not gonna get my best today, but we'll see how I do. It's good that I didn't actually get too many submissions. I only got a handful for the question because my energy is very low. It's a lot less currently, at least. It's less about like any kind of like anhedonia, like it has been other times. I am just extremely tired. I just feel kind of like just tired. Yeah, I know, right, Gator? Don. Yes, this merry-go-round is quite sickening. But yeah, just I'm just very tired today. I think I have been for a bit. I don't know, and it's kind of interesting because it kind of falls in line with the topic of today, which is well, the question that I posed to the Zoids was as follows: When life is going smoothly, financially, people wise, or lack of, and mental health wise, are you always on standby for incoming failure? Do you make sure to keep any hopes in check to not deal with an assumed incoming disappointment? Anecdotes are welcome, including success stories. So that is what I put forward. And I got a few submissions from the Zoids on the Zoid Void. As for myself, just quick updates. Still taking the Adderall. I think I've been on it for about a week. It's only 15 milligrams, so the only thing I've noticed is I'm a bit more awake in the morning after I take it for a few hours. That's about it. I didn't see any major increase in my motivation or focus. It still feels like a chore to do a lot of things, but that could just be depression. It's really hard for me to gauge right now how the Adderall is kind of working or not working because I've been very depressed since like late November, like more so than usual, more than the normal dysthymic sort of low level depression I kind of just live with and I'm okay with. I'm used to, if anything. Um, it's it's been a rough holiday. And it's partially my fault because I didn't prepare accordingly in some respects. Luckily, there's a little bit of a nest egg we had that's, well, it's going to have to be depleted because I haven't had any work for about a month and a half. And oddly, well, not oddly, but when you work like I have been, which is as an independent contractor, they consider you to be self-employed. So, and it's funny too, because the work I've been doing is probably the most tolerable work I've ever done in my entire life, which is all remote and everything. And well, yeah. So there wasn't any work to do in the last month and a half, so I just haven't had any work. And you would think I'd be happy about not having to work. Well, this job wasn't particularly stressing or distressing. What's become more distressing is not having prepared or expected this because I should have, like, duh, right? It's such an obvious thing. Why would the businesses that feed you the work that's been pretty consistent continue doing so during the holidays? Like, of course it's gonna stop significantly. And yeah, that was very stupid of me. Very, very stupid of me. And because I'm an independent contractor when I work, I don't qualify for things like unemployment. If you work like a normal W-2 job and, like, say you were getting 40 hours and something causes you to lose your job or get your hours cut in half, you can get some supplemental income from the old state. But yeah, I don't qualify for that as an independent person. It's like they want to punish people that are self-employed. What? You're self-employed? We're still going to charge you about the same amount of taxes. But we're going to punish you by not letting you get access to things like unemployment. So that part really sucks. So had to sign up for, like, at least for the time being, sign up for like what would be essentially the equivalent of food stamps or something. And I've applied to other work, just to see if I can get something. But of course, being the end of the year, not many places are hiring, even online. So if I do get a call back, it probably won't be till January. And if work does come back at the work that I normally do, again, it probably won't be till sometime mid-January or something. Hoping it'll be right away. But yeah. And it kind of connects to the topic, right? So things are going pretty good for me. At least, well, relatively good, at least financially, for the last year before this. Like, I wouldn't say good like some of you out there for sure, or bad compared to some of you out there. But it was like, it was still paycheck to paycheck, but it was like enough to where we didn't have to stretch our dollar as much as we have in the past. And it lasted for a while, so that was like that moment of like, oh, things are going smoothly. And I was expecting a downturn of some kind, but I don't know how I didn't project it would be this one. I don't know how I didn't project that it was going to be because the holidays, beginning with Thanksgiving, we're just going to eradicate. And Q4 of most businesses is just going to eradicate my work. And because I'm an independent contractor, I don't get like things like Christmas bonuses or any of that. And if you're wondering, hey, Inks, why do you do that kind of work? It was so bad. Well, because it has its benefits. And they're actually far more suitable to my mental health, considering the mental illness I kind of deal with. Flexible schedule. If I'm too like just fucked or depressed or whatever to work that day, I can work on the weekend. I can come in late whenever I want. Or if I dealt with some insomnia, I can sleep in a little bit more. And anyway, so things were going pretty smoothly. As I mentioned before, and I think some of you might understand, even if your preoccupations are a little more on the autistic side or more on the schizo side of things, right? The stuff you want to spend your time doing, thinking about, contemplating, taking part in, being creative about, so on and so forth. Those things are always, they kind of have to be delegated to the hobby department, so that's fine. But even like the darkest parts of your mental health are usually some kind of internal things. Especially, I think, for a lot of neurodivergent people, it's usually coming from the inside. A lot of the pain and a lot of the issues, and when stuff is stable on the outside, like roof over your head, even if it's paycheck to paycheck, like things are getting paid and things are being done, it gives you enough, as they like to say, spoons to sort of be able to sort of manage your mental health a lot better, because you can dedicate all your energy to that, right? You can dedicate your energy to focusing on keeping your shit together and cool. But when those external factors become difficult, that's not so easy. Piling on, I guess, conventional forms of stress on top of, the continuous, ongoing, lifelong stress of managing the old noggin. But yeah, because that stress, the external stress, had been reduced to a much more tolerable degree, yeah, I should have been prepared for this sort of disappointment. And I thought I was prepared for a lot of disappointments, expecting a lot of them, projecting certain ones, and just such a fool. such a fool. And other things were going really good too. Like mental health stuff is going pretty decent. Family stuff is going pretty decent. My daughter was dealing with some stuff that's improving significantly. So there was all those things that I was just sort of like expecting problems to come. Not necessarily disappointment, but problems. And so I was really focusing on all these other things, these other external factors that mattered more to me or connected more to my internal issues that I'm trying to improve. And so I was a fool and thought, okay, well, this has been a pretty sustainable, steady job. I've been getting my full hours every single week for the last, 8 months or whatever, 9 months since I like pivoted over to the work I do right now, with the project I'm working on right now. And I just thought, like, this should be fine till December. And I have no idea why I thought that. It was just so fucking stupid. And I should have expected it. And I've had this issue myself for many years where I always kind of preempt failure and disappointment and things like that. Or preempt failure in order to avoid disappointment, I guess. I guess I should have worded that question a little bit better. There's a couple of ideas it brings up. Things like some businesses do it. It's called pre-mortem when it comes to like project management. So it's sort of like going into a project and then asking the question, well, imagine you already failed. What would have to happen? Imagine all those hopes you had for this did not culminate into what is projected. How what will we do to manage that and deal with it or whatever? And then it allows you to sort of find problems in whatever. God, my hair is just killing me right now. Problems in whatever project you're doing while thinking about it in that way. Right? So it's like this pre-mortem thing. Um, I've also always been aware of something called impact bias. I think I learned that really early in life, even though I didn't have the terms for it until much later. Maybe some of you don't know what that is, but I'm sure many of you know what it is, but don't know the term for it. I'm fortunate to have a job where I work alone, stay away from side for 4 weeks. Oh, that's pretty cool. Sick. Gator. Um, I haven't quite guessed what you do, but it looks neat. By the way, from I know you were hanging out in the server the other day. If you don't mind me mentioning that, sorry. Um, in any case, what was I saying? Oh yeah, impact bias. So impact bias is when people do this a lot, especially when they have some like hopes and dreams about something. Like they'll really really bank on how good they're gonna feel after they succeed at the thing they succeed in, and then once they actually attain it, because the impact they imagined it would have on them or on them emotionally or otherwise is not as ginormous as they projected it to be. They can spin into like a sort of depression and lethargy and such. So that's an interesting one. Luckily, I think like I said, I learned that very early in life, so that was never really a problem. I think most of my depression at the moment is because I feel like a fool for not having expected this. It's such an obvious thing. Quarter 4, the holidays. Um, like, I'm an independent contractor. Why would I think that there would be work during the month of December and late November? Why would I think that? Why wouldn't I just assume and prepare for that possibility? And even assume and prepare that possibility, for my family, my wife, and stuff. Because then we could have like penny pinched a lot harder during certain months in order to make sure that we had. And we do have some savings. I mean, that's I guess the disappointing part is we managed to save up some money, which is not usually something that easy to do, and now that money is going to be just spent on getting through this month and a half of me having no employment. It's you get that feeling of just like that's Sisyphus shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's how it feels. And then I blame myself. Well, I should blame myself for it because I didn't. Such an idiot. Um. Anyway, so I asked other Zoids how they manage that stuff, and usually I do a pretty good job of that. Um. Usually, but I failed in this case. Luckily, it didn't impact my children's Christmas because um, me and my wife, being the savvy individuals we try to be, we have collected gifts over the course of the year as things pop up, sales pop up, clearances pop up. And so we'll snag things throughout the year at their cheapest and just hoard them until it's Christmas time. And I think that is a pretty responsible method to prepare for such things. Um, so that's the one thing I'm grateful for. If I can be grateful for some aspect of my existence at the moment, is that my children didn't have to like feel the repercussions of my poor decision. But my wife did, so but she's being a trooper, and it still makes me just kind of hate myself. Hate myself a little bit. Like it's one of those I should have known. Like, oh god. Um, questions here regarding the question about when life is going smoothly, are you always on standby for incoming failure? Do you make sure to keep any hopes in check to not deal with an assumed incoming disappointment? Or yeah. So let's see. Let's see what I have here. Um, Dear Angst, I can relate a great deal to what this week's question describes. One could argue. Hold on. Why is this doing that? Stop. One could argue that my constant need to be prepared for any eventuality is pathological, and many people have labeled it anxiety. That's interesting to bring up anxiety. I was reading something on happiness anxiety. That one's a pretty interesting subject. I think a lot of I think I'm the I think a lot of Zoids probably like have some mix of that sometimes. Happiness anxiety is basically when things are going extremely well and it just makes you really anxious. Um, it doesn't like a lot of the time is because you're probably used to being in a state of like concern or stress, and when you're not, um, you're afraid. You're afraid to feel good about it, or it makes you anxious to attempt to feel good about it because you know it will, you know, be gone a lot faster than you could assume. Um, and I don't know, people use it to sort of protect themselves from the agony of being pulled back by unexpected or occurrences that one couldn't have prepared for. in a reasonable way. Anyway, but it has consistently ensured my survival and success in circumstances that I would otherwise fail in. In short, being anxious about the future has saved my ass many times. Throughout my life, I've always had extremely bad luck, like probably impossibly bad luck. And I think this is why expecting things to go wrong is just normal for me. Yes, I vibe with that. But I think I'm okay with things going wrong for me, and I've kind of just managed that with isolated, some maybe depressive episodes that don't impact other people. But I think what gets to me now is that my that those like downturns are going to impact people I've actually managed to connect with and care about, like my wife, my kids, and also to a lesser degree, the overall people or what have you that watch this channel and are in the server attempting to do something or work towards something regarding some of their issues. I know that it can impact that project, what I do, because as you can see at the moment, my heart isn't in this stream very well, but I just it's a self-imposed thing where I really need to get it done. The Saturday one matters more to me than any of the others, or the other, because I haven't been doing the Thursday one because I just haven't been up for it for obvious reasons. And the Thursday one is probably the least watched, so, and it's not really there to provide anything but me ranting and raving about something and making an ass out of myself. Anyway, let me continue this. One recent example, I'm currently homeless and living in hotels. My current stay was booked for 6 months, paid in 3-month increments, which most people might think was secure, and not feel the need to prepare any further into the future. However, being me, I haven't been able to relax and trust that everything will go as planned. So I booked another hotel well in advance to go after the 6 months are up. I also made extensive plans for moving again at short notice and even for living on the street. Based. And purchased some supplies I would need to do so. A few days before I was due to pay for the next 3 months of my current stay, I found out that I've been kicked out I've been getting kicked out in 2 weeks because the landlord has decided to renovate. Because of my planning, I'm going to be okay no matter what happens, as I'm prepared for every eventuality, which wouldn't happen if I hadn't had that anxiety to drive me. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Hello, Major Poner. You're my Huckleberry? See, recently went through 6 months of unemployment. Shit definitely sucks. Yeah, it does suck, Laverne. Like, it's so funny because I'm like more tired and stressed right now than I was when I was just like working. And it's because of that, like, knowing the external factor of Z money, it was kind of okay. And I think it bothers me more, like, it bothers me more worrying about money because how much I hate fucking money. I hate that, like, so much of my brain right now is being taken over by the worries and attempts to figure out a way out of the money problem. And I hate that my brain is being dedicated to that issue because I hate the object. I hate what it is. I hate what it represents. I hate what it's become. And I'm a schizo in my thinking, so like it like gets connected to a million things that I'm very unhappy about regarding human civilization and the decisions we just love to perpetuate and enjoy. On and on and on. Yeah, Well, I mean, greed is the curse, but money is the greatest catalyst and tool um, for such greed to reach its ultimate potentials. Anyway, um, let me continue here. Sorry. Oh no, they already said it. So yeah, this particular Zoid, they just they're anxious and always planning and planning and planning for the eventuality of failure and the various types of failure that can occur. I tend to do this on a variety of things, but I'm also a fool because sometimes I tend to sometimes fall into, and I'm joking when I say this, kind of to the my idealism, like the follies of idealism. Um, so like I guess what kills me is when I prepare for failure and I kind of do the math in my head of how it, like what can happen, and then it fails so tremendously that it, like elements that I thought were more secure to some degree just were that much just not secure at all. You know, it's that whole like when it's when it snows, it hails, or whatever. How the fuck? I don't know how the fuck that goes. When it rains, it snows. There you go. When it rains, it snows. There, right? It almost seems to, they almost seem to feed into each other. And I know it's not like a Shark Week fucking style. Oh, I'm over noticing type stuff because I'm pretty aware of that type of shit. It's like legitimate actual events. Oftentimes feel like they happen on like in bunches, and so it keeps you pretty anxious or just kind of meh throughout the lulls because you're just like, oh yeah, when it rains it pours. Thank you, thank you. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like when it rains it pours, and you're expecting it for it to pour, but then it's hail, right? You weren't expecting hail. Absolutely relate with the money dilemma. I despise kneeling to the almighty dollar and the money changers who print it out of nowhere. I hate thinking about it, like, and worrying about it. I hate feeling comfort or relief from getting it. I hate, like, you know, getting like a, I don't know, like getting the hit up the, oh, there's work, and oh, or and then me having to scramble in my computer to like get work done and squeeze in as many hours as I can, and then feeling relief from like getting a good like those hours, and I just like hate myself because I'm just like, god damn, this is horrible. Like I do not, that didn't feel good. That just like the relief is more like of um a feeling of, oh, I'm back to neutral. Like I'm not, okay, cool, back to neutral. It's not like it doesn't feel good to get like a lot of money. Like if somebody dumped like, I don't know, fucking a big chunk of money at me right now, it's not gonna make me happy. It's gonna relieve me, but it's not gonna make me happy. It's gonna, all I'm gonna think in my head is like, oh, that's good. Now I can feel less stressed about that, so I can manage my mental health better, so that I can work on the things I actually care about. And that's awesome. I'm back to neutral where I can work. Like it's just so crazy. Even if it was like, and this is just my issues, right? Like even if it was, I came across like, I don't know, $3 million or something crazy. Like it would just put me from like, oh, it pulled that helped pull me out of the severe depression. Now I can dedicate all my energy to the stuff I work on and my mental health being stable. Like cool. Like, but there's all this other stuff that just consistently fucks with me and depresses me about so many elements of not just my own, but everyone's existence. And the inability to just make the choice of don't think about it because of the ethical/moral frameworks they live by. Hey, Shadow. Yeah, back to neutral. Now what? More of the same ad infinitum. That's how it kind of feels. It's like the if you want to do the Sisyphus thing, it's like you're pushing the rock and then like your foot slips and then you're getting like you just like you lose the grab you had on the fucking the rock and the boulder's rolling back bit by bit and you're just like fucking trying to find a sure foot and a sure place to grab the damn rock because it's slowly like gonna just crush you under its weight and you're like pushing and refooting and everything else, right? And then like that's what money feels like. And then boom, you find your foothold. You got the grip. Cool. All right, the rock's not falling on me anymore. Or the boulder's not falling on me anymore. Now I can keep pushing it. Oh, yeah. No, I know, Shadow. That's why it's funny. I said that right at the beginning. I misspelled disappointment. Which is funny. And I'm going to leave it there. Man, I'm like incredibly useless when I'm like this. And like I said, folks, it ain't your kind of internal mental thought and don't eat bullshit that I'm just so tired. I'm so fucking tired. I'm just some guy. I'm just some guy. Next submission. Dear Angst, long stretch of happy time makes me nervous to the point where I begin to act in a way that ruins my life. Either that or all redemption was just a way to make the inevitable lows worse. Sustained relationship too long? Absolutely not. Been good at something consistently and it's beginning to feed into my confidence? No, now I'm constantly nervous. I will turn bad at it and then actually do turn bad at it. If something went well at this point, I'm unlikely to try it again, just as not to ruin the success. Huh. I'm trying to think of if I've done elements of that myself. Where I like sabotaged myself because of the distress that stability brings or something. Maybe in the past, like at work, like I'll like at first I'll be concerned with like the job itself, and then once it becomes easy and I become incredibly bored, I start thinking about how to like make improvements to the efficiency or the quality of that job, and then I like out of boredom I think I start making waves. Partially out of boredom because I see like all this shit and I'm like, I don't like this. Why are these things happening? This is dumb. We should get rid of it to improve this. That's not needed. And other people are probably feeling like, well, that's how it's always been. It's good, right? It's stable. I'm like, no. And then I'll make waves. And sometimes it'll fix stuff, make things better, but oftentimes it just causes me problems. So maybe that's something like that. Dung beetle pushing crap. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I just again, I hate that when money is the issue. I hate that there is no choice but to think about it. Otherwise, I'd be just delusional, and I would be fucking betraying the needs of my family and stuff, and my own needs, because I need to keep myself chugging along in that department for reasons like continuing the work I want to do more of. So it's a doozy. Dear Angst, I tend to not be extremely aware about the potential threats of things going wrong or occasional bad surprises. I live too much on the now. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that, but I guess that's a success story? I mean, that could have its own problems, obviously. So, prepare for shit. Dear Angst, no, I no longer anticipate failures and other bad events when things are going well. I used to do that a lot, but somehow reality has become easier to track and to rely on. So there's a lot less of that feeling like things must be actually falling apart, but I just haven't noticed yet. There we go, right? Not projecting anything can definitely lead to ruin. Ooh, just got a fresh one out of the oven here. Dear Angst, this isn't entirely the same, but for a number of years I hated the feeling of positivity or joy. I needed some amount of self-loathing, negativity, or hopelessness in order to feel safe again, as if the very concept of hope was killing me from the inside out. It's not like this anymore, though. That's really good to hear. It's very good to hear. I can't say the same. But it's not self-loathing that makes me feel safe. It's the kind of stuff that makes me feel quote unquote safe is like some of that's I never feel safe. But I mean, like individually safe, yeah, I guess I can, like, if things are going okay on the external concern department, like health, finances are going, they're stable. So I guess that would put me in a state in which I feel safe. But I don't know. I kind of, in some respects, I sometimes don't feel like I'm safe for myself. Um, my own thoughts and preoccupations, and also safe from a world that seems hell bent on destroying itself. That makes me feel unsafe. But I don't really worry about me being safe more than, like I said, my kids and the wife. Like, I care more about them being safe. But them not being safe makes me unsafe, or makes me feel unsafe. I guess it's a way to put it. If I'm unsafe, but they're safe, then I don't feel very unsafe. Maybe? I think that makes sense. I don't want lyrics. Why is it playing a song with lyrics? I find lyrics really distracting. Like when I work or do anything I want to concentrate on, I cannot listen to music with lyrics. lyrics are a very important thing for me. So I have to listen to lyrics that are borderline unintelligible. So I'll listen to like a lot of atmospheric black metal and things like that, and a lot of metal type shit, or just like or instrumental shit. Um, Songs with actual lyrics, and I like plenty. I have to basically just focus on that when I'm listening, because yeah, my brain will just take me away no matter what. If I hear certain words, ideas, words will have an impact on my thought process, my ability to concentrate. Might be an ADHD thing too, but I don't know. Same with the boredom. It contributed to my misspent youth developing skills I no longer give a fuck about. You know. Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that one, Don. You know, I owe the federal government with like about, you know, 60 to 70 grand on a master's degree in a field that I thought would fulfill me, because I nothing seemed to, and I was so desperate to figure out something that would fulfill my sense of purpose. Um, so yeah, foolish decisions of the hollow and desperate. Lyrics in other languages I don't understand work fine too. So I can't listen to songs in Spanish or English. Those are the only two languages I speak fluently. I know a little bit of bits and pieces of other stuff, but nothing useful. Well, if you guys have questions about the topic, or have your own stuff you'd like to share regarding how you preempt failure or disappointment, I'd like to hear it. If you're watching this as a VOD, go ahead and post it in the comments. I'd appreciate that. I like seeing comments on the videos, not because like, oh, they're engaging with me, oh, that's fulfilling. No, because like sometimes people will say some cool stuff or interesting stuff or stuff that corroborates other messages I've seen in other kind of perspectives that are common amongst the old Zoiders. Which leads me to like look into certain avenues and then explore those or think about them a little bit further and think about what kind of actionable thing can be done about it. Which, as a single person doing it, mostly there isn't much. Most of the stuff I can think of that would be actionably good would require like a motivated demographic, which is, you know, the entire bitter irony of the whole situation. The idea of advocating for people like myself has become a very welcome but laborious task, to put it mildly. I feel like you have to accept failure and disappointment. We're all human. It can be even be a good thing as learning experience. Like, that's actually life. It's just a learning experience. Yeah, but it's a very unfair learning experience for some people, and a much more manageable one for others. Right? Like if a person that comes from like a, I don't know, a family that has far more safety nets installed, then, you know, losing losing like 2 months of work is just kind of like a, oh well, dang, I can't. I'm gonna have to like not eat out this month. Shoot, know what I mean? But when you rely on that sort of income, it's a lot more difficult than having to make a decision like, oh, guess I gotta wait till next year to go to Disney World. Like, if that was the issue, if my like big disappointment was, oh man, I didn't get that big Christmas bonus, so I can't take the family to Disney World this year in Florida. Like that would be fine. So yeah, failure and disappointment can really be affected by your lived conditions, station in life, um, class wise or otherwise, being neurodivergent, depending on your area or conditions, being like male or female or what have you, depending on your nation you inhabit. Disappointment and failure can be quite, the consequences of such a thing can be um, quite distressful. The fuck is this? This playlist is throwing some like annoying shit at me. No, I don't want to hear. What the fuck? The fucking hour just doing lo-fi hip hop? What's this shit? Just took a big dump on me. Anyway, life's still pretty unfair. Yeah, the bubble. Yeah, I mean that's what's fucked. Like nobody should be living in a bubble. No, I don't want normie depression music. I like my weird depression music. Um, yeah, like nobody should. We need death metal. We need to get angry about this thing. Yeah, that's a thing. Like, I get that. I usually do anger, but my anger, like, since I know what many of the problems are, and the many of those problems are things I have zero control over, and it would require a bunch of angry people that won't get that angry. Um, yeah, it's kind of like it's like an impotent anger. It depends on what you're being angry about, but it feels like really impotent sometimes. That just getting angry. Depends on where your headspace is, I guess. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Anger is definitely important. It's a very good tool, but like, what's the point of like being angry at a brick wall? Like you just punch it until your like knuckles are broken. Did you accomplish anything? Yeah, that's about right, Poner. So, what you like about me is what kills me every day. Let's see here. I don't feel like I engage consciously trying to anticipate failure during good times, but I am pessimistic by default and have been described as being a bummer when other people don't want to think about things being bad. Yeah, see, I don't mind thinking about things going bad. Um, as long as when they do go bad, I had somewhat prepared mentally and materially. Like I said, if it was just me, I guess when it was just me, this kind of stuff was just like, okay, well, guess guess I'm only having one meal a day this week or something, or I'm gonna have to really just kind of. That's what's funny. Also, Major, is it's my overthinking about things. Like if I would have taken the what some people would call the like the mentally healthy route toward like thinking about stuff, I would have never like probably meant like figured out what little I have figured out while doing the work I've done or the research I've done on the whole schizoid issue. I probably just would have not overthunk or something, which, and then I would have just like I would have just gone full griller on the topic. And I guess that's being full griller is just not something I can do on certain topics. And even the topics I have to kind of force myself to be a griller on, because if I think about them, I won't be able to function. It's sort of I was talking to somebody a while back. It reminds me of interaction me and this person had. I They brought up to me like essentially because there's somebody that's very much a vegan and very much live that lifestyle actively and do everything they can to sort of um uphold their own. They're not a moralizer, in other words, like where they try to like they go around trying to shame people, because that doesn't work anyway. uh, but they are very strong about their position, and they sent me a message that showed basically a breakdown of all of the things that no matter how hard you try, you are likely to not be able to avoid, um, such as uh, everything that's printed on ink. That oftentimes it's you know created via the destruction of insects or the exploiting of certain elements that animals produce, right, and other stuff, even like the cardboard box and just a bunch of things that, like, unless you had a significant amount of money, you really couldn't like live that 100%. Um, and they showed me that, and they just like, it was just like, damn. As usual, the wall is a lot higher than one could ever expect, and I'm not a vegan. I wish I had the wherewithal and the mental health to be able to take that on as well, but I do not. My tenacity is limited. Um, so I cannot. Just like I can't like dedicate significant portions of my time to going to like volunteering at soup kitchens. I have volunteered at like retirement homes to hang out with and keep company with the old people there. I've done that kind of stuff. Or whatever. But why does it have fucking lyrics? Thank you. Um but I don't know what I was saying. I don't remember what I was talking about. See, this is why I stay away from songs and lyrics when I'm trying to think. Oh, the wall. That's right. And so, what was interesting about it is when they showed me this, I was like, oh wait, um, I actually already knew about this stuff, but the only reason I did was because I was looking into other stuff regarding food and food distribution and product distribution stuff, and it just happened to come up about where ink comes from and types of ink, and I was more interested in like labor exploitation in other nations and stuff, um, and where how all the ink we use, and like basically like how all these things we take for granted are horribly exploited on a daily basis or whatever. And I just happened to come across that information at some point that they themselves were less aware about, and I was just like, at that moment, I'm like, Jesus, that finding that out must have been uh, difficult. Aren't vegans against milk and cheese and chicken and eggs and such? I can't get on board with that. You could be totally cool with animals and still have this stuff at least. Yeah, the argument against that major opponent is that basically the likelihood of being able the likelihood in the business or the corporate economy, especially that we live in, that businesses will ethically collect anything from animals in a way that doesn't restrict their ability to you know thrive in their individual ways, is so unlikely, so like borderline impossible, because the system it is set up to basically churn out as much product, churn out as much shit at whatever cost is humanly possible. That includes things like eggs and milk and everything else. You have to like genetically fucking modify shit, and you have to like put shit in their food and like affect the health of those animals in order to produce as much as you want. Yeah, like no, yeah, for sure. Like I'm kind I understand that. Like if somebody was like a vegetarian and they just had their own like little farm with like the kind of little self-sustained type deal. Like I have very little issue with that personally. But anything in which it turns into like a for-profit type of situation to a giant degree, it just inevitably leads to some kind of exploitation. Um, and like that, like for example, that kind of stuff, I just can't. I can't dedicate a portion of my uh, empathy or cognitive empathy or anything to thinking about it too much, because I'm already thinking about other things, and I'm like my mind, like my brain, it's finite. I'm finite, so yeah. A lot of vegans would, but well, the vegans would just avoid it entirely. One vegetarians, there's probably vegetarians that try to get their stuff from these sort of sources, but that unless you like maybe have like found a good job and you live by yourself or something, like that kind of stuff can be like there's like a there's like a financial wall there. um Fucking lyrics. There's like a sort of financial wall there that's pretty hard to like overcome. But the point is that like even if you wanted to be vegan, like you can't even be vegan in like every respect. When you see how deep the rabbit hole goes. as far as like um, the exploitation of like animal resources. Um, I can only think about like certain types of exploitation. Yeah, exactly. The shareholders need their yearly visits. You mean their yearly stay? Their yearly, 1 week stay at Disney World in the highest, most classiest hotel with their very happy family, which sometimes not very happy as well. That part like cheeses me off, guys. Like, it's one of those things that like pisses me off is the thought that um the people living with, making millions at least every year, like they have the resources, and forget about multimillionaires or billionaires. The thought that even with the amount of resources they're consuming, um, that their families could be just as like unhappy or miserable in other ways. It's like, wow, you have so much income and it's so important to you, yet you're still verbally or sexually abusing your children in some way. If they do that, I'm not saying they all do that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, there's still like people with that many resources still doing horrible shit, and it's like, wow, it's not even feeding into like a even remotely wholesome thing, even on like a individual level. If you try to discount all the damage it may cause. Uh, so it's like I think I get a little annoyed when there's like shows like TV shows or movies about like, we're a really fucked up rich family. Like, okay, like, thank you for reminding me that like y'all are fucking just eating up resources and you're still miserable. Cool. So hope it was worth it. That cow was just a Prada, but my Ferrari and is my baby, and it needs a fresh coat of paint. Yeah. To respect the principles of vegans, anyone who's being conscious about their consumption and the implications of it. Yeah. Yep. Yep. But it's funny, like, is even have you watched The Fall of the House of Usher? Not the new one. I'll check it out. Is that again? I mean, it's Edgar Allan Poe, but I don't know how. I've seen what they do with Poe work, and it's fun. Like, I don't mind it. Like, I like a bunch of Vincent Price shit. That's like, okay, this is not the short story, but it's still pretty cool production or whatever. So I just kind of like, I am not one of those like literary sticklers, unless they really just miss the point completely or do the opposite of what the point was, or try to subvert your expectations of the story or some fucking weird ass look at me, I did something, look at me type bullshit, which is really really common in adaptations, and they fucking annoy me. It's like, wow, if you just wanted to do that story, just fucking go find a writer, or go find a fucking screenplay that's already kind of covers that isn't just fucking you trying to subvert something that already exists. Midnight Mass is probably my favorite Mike Flanagan's. Okay, cool. Well, maybe it's worth checking out. I heard from another person that it's actually quite good. And now I can't even. Yeah, it's just just funny to be in like a weird financial place where you can't even like justify at this point at the current moment I cannot even justify like the absolutely horrible $10 bottle of vodka um well, and it's a 1.75 liter too that I use to drown my sorrows on occasion, on more than one occasion in the late evenings. It sucks. It's all shit. It's hard. I'm even thrifty with like my yeah, the 1.75 or 1. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible miscellaneous. It's the worst shit ever. And this is like California money, so it like my dollar goes nowhere. Um yeah, but it's horrific, dude. I forgot the name of the brand. It's called like A it's some fucking really horrible shit that's like in a fucking plastic bottle. And the only way it's tolerable is if you mix it with like some kind of like sweet tasting type deal. Otherwise, it's not even like, oh, it tastes like alcohol. No, I don't mind that. That's what vodka tastes like, but it tastes like just like I don't know, burnt oil or something. I've No, it's called Apex, I think, or something. The worst liquor always has like the names about how amazing they are. It's crazy. It's incredibly bad. It tastes like burnt rubber. No, Kamchatka was better than this. And Kamchatka makes me laugh because it sounds like Kamchat. So, Kamchatka in your mouth, like it's just funny. It's just pure potato, exactly. Like it's just so bad, man. I don't even know if it's potato. It feels like they manufactured some like pseudo potato. Like it reminds me of that old episode of The Simpsons where like Bart goes, "Yeah, but I drink my milk every day," and he looks at the milk and the carton says "malk." It's like that. Oh, it works. It works, but it's horrible, man. It's horrible. And so what I do a lot of nights is I'll get like a chunk of it and I'll put it into like I don't know, like a big old thing of water, and then I'll put like um some kind of like usually I'll try like it because like again like I'll get some kind of like flavored electrolyte shit, and then I mix that up, and then I usually don't start drinking it until about 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m. my time. And then by the time it's like 12:30, um, I'm just like, I'm tired and it's starting to sort of wear off. And then I just like, I go to sleep. Um, so I try to, for financial reasons, obviously, because I can't be spending money on fucking that shit um, too much. I basically like time my nightly drinking. I'm not saying it's healthy, but I guess I do my best to keep the damage at a minimum, as well as the any financial wear and tear it would cause. Yeah, I know you aren't, but I'm a big caffeine guy. It makes my brain feel good and focus. Alcohol just makes you sluggish and works. I know you always mention it, Shadow. You always mention it. No one wants to beat it. Beat it. Beat it. Beat it. No one wants to be defeated. Um. So yeah, and it's funny too, cause like I never like crave it. No matter how poo poo I feel, I never crave it during the day. Um, and it's just like this kind of weird. It's more of like a like when the days are bad type deal. It's yeah. It's probably been like more than it should just because of how rough the 2 months been. So, but that's not a very good excuse. So, trust me, I know very much how not that is not the healthiest route. And I am taking every morning the healthiest route. You know, pharmaceutical route. But there's something about the night, the late night. Um, okay. That's enough oversharing. Well, guys, if you like the streams, if you like the videos I have posted, as few and as I've been able to, because um, you know, it's not exactly like there's a lot of schizoids jumping out of the water at the chance to get interviewed. If you're a schizoid and you wouldn't mind being interviewed about your situation and your struggles and what have you, please just DM me on the Zoid Void. I am totally up for doing more. Night does leave more space for negative thoughts. Yeah. But the worst part is that night, oftentimes, like, I'm more awake at night. So it's like, more negative thoughts and more awake. That's not good. Late night is peaceful. Reminds me of the empty. Actually, I felt as a child safe. Yeah. I guess I just don't feel very safe, huh? Um, but anyway, if you're a Zoid out there and you want to, uh, yeah, get interviewed by my stupid ass, and I won't be this tired. I hope. Um, please, hit me up on the Zoid Void or on Discord. Just send me like a friend request. I'll accept it. I'll take your DMs, whatever. I don't care. And then we can set something up so that I can like do a little hour with you, and then you can get like a video up. It could be as anonymous as you'd like. I think those types of interviews are actually incredibly helpful to because there's so many unique types of people that deal with this like personality disorder or whatever. And that isn't just being really introverted. Yeah, it's not about that fucking life. Um, so yeah, I think there's something useful for that, and I've been told as much. Even if my audience is very small, we are a very small niche percentage of people comparison. Yeah, I mean, neurodivergent people are a small percentage of humankind, and neurodivergent people that develop this particular PD are another subset of that. So yeah, it's very niche. If you want to support me um, and what I do, Patreon is a good route. PayPal is a good route. That's in the description. Cash App, I guess, works, but whatever. Um, so if you're sitting there on your mountain of cash, I'm kidding. There's no schizoids with mountains of cash. Well, there might be, but I've yet to meet them. Um, please, I mean, I appreciate anything. Also, to those that already do, I really fucking appreciate it. Yeah, well, active. I know where I live too, so beat that. Okay, just like sub. If you're a broke bitch like me, then I suggest just getting the link to these. If I say something particularly cool, clip the stream, or use the YouTube clip thing, and then put a link of that in the Schizoid Reddit or Schizoid Facebook group or whatever the fuck else might work. Um, so yeah, just do that. That would be really helpful. Yeah, I don't have time for that. And I don't think my wife would be interested in me trying to do that. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you another time, probably Tuesday, where hopefully I'll have more energy. I don't know. I can't promise anything. I'll probably be just as depressed. I'm gonna go ahead and distract myself from some bullshit with some bullshit, I think. I don't know. All right. As usual, when day is dark, always remember